whenever you're ready.
Okay. So what's your name?
I'm Ginger.
Ginger what?
Ginger Tan.
And you are?
Adam.
All right, Adam. So tell me, Ginger, what is punk to you?
Punk is going crazy. Punk is like not caring what anyone else thinks and running in there in the pit and screaming and throwing yourself around and just being yourself and not caring what anyone else thinks.
What about you, buddy?
Actual freedom.
Freedom.
That's all I can say.
I like that response. All right. Tell me, guys, what does it mean to you to be punk?
Well, for me, punk music was always about perseverance. Punk music to me was always about having a good time and just, being a part of something that is against of, your normal average, just being a part of something that's a little bit different and having a good time,
Right on. What about you, buddy?
For me, punk music is kind of it's about getting excited and kind of hyped up and sharing good music with a lot of good people. So.
Right on, right on.
Yeah. Okay.
So go ahead.
Wendy Goldman.
Stephanie Williamson.
All right, great. Hey, what does punk mean to you?
I think it's music, it's rebellion, a little anarchy. It's obviously a style of dress. And it kind of depends when you're thinking about it. What it is now, or as it was in the 70s in London, a little different. So,
I agree that punk, it's rebellion, it's anarchy. It's for me, it's about self-expression. It's about pushing the limits, and I think that still holds true today to what it was like in the 70s.
So I'm going to go off script here and ask you, how does punk different from the day that used to be like in the late 70s or early 80s? Early 80s. How is that different? How is punk different?
Okay, well, I'm a high school teacher.
Okay.
So I see kids who identify themselves as punk, who that same kid in that same socioeconomic class 30 years ago, no way. So there's
no way.
there's
What? What do you mean?
There's the rebellion was, I think, a lot of the rebellion, let's say in the 70s and early 80s. I think it really was against the establishment. It really was against parents and order.
So what are the new? What's the kids nowadays? What are they? What's the difference?
It's cool to be different.
That's it. There's like they don't stand. Are you saying they don't stand for anything?
That would probably hurt my students' feelings.
It's okay. They're not here.
But they don't care about mine. So no, I to be very honest, I kind of think it's sometimes they say that there's something, or they dress a certain way and they listen to a certain type of music simply because they think it's cool.
Cool. Okay.
As opposed to
more to get
really
along
trying to make a statement.
Exactly. How do you feel?
Well, my fiance is an old punk rocker. So, if you were interviewing him, he'd give you a lot of insight on it. I mean, he owned a business downtown. I think when I think of punk music, I do think of a little anger and rebellion and frustration. And that's why people go to it. You can scream and yell and get it out and sweat and really feel, what the people are saying. That's important.
No problem. All right, Steve.
Yes.
Ski.
Steve Ski.
Steve
That's
Ski.
good. Steve Ski.
All right. What's punk rock to you?
It's, I in the late 70s when punk came out, I didn't know what it was. And I started listening to Talking Heads and later The Clash, and it's like, these guys are kick-ass. But it was a time when I was working a career, and I played music before I was in a band, from high school till college, and then I stopped. And now I'm relearning piano. But anyway, back to the punk rock question. I came to appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And then later, I didn't listen to grunge, which was kind of a morph, I think, for punk rock, rather. It's all good. It's all music, man. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. What's the next question?
What do you think punk stands for?
P-U-N-K?
If you can give a couple key points, what does punk stand for in your
mind? You know what? Traditionally, punk stands for kind of against the grain, revolution.
Against establishment?
Yeah, a different type of music. Like the Clash said, something about in the, I was London Calling, like, we don't play that Beatles music, and I love the Beatles. So I like the Stones and the Animals more, but because that was bluesy. I'm a blues guy.
No.
But punk, it's like, boom, boom, we're coming to you. Boom, boom.
Right.
but very solid beat. A long show.
Yeah, we played a long show. We played all the old stuff. Yeah.
And really, some people come to see, just
that one song.
Yeah. I mean, they might only.
Obviously, that's a huge hit.
Well, it's weird because I mean, and you don't notice it until years go by, but when you have a song that people know that don't necessarily even know the name of the band that does it, it's a different kind of thing, and it doesn't really have anything to do with what you're doing as a band, like trying to accomplish as a band member. You can certainly not be the kind of guy who's. I mean, I guess Michael Jackson used to try to have hits, but I mean, I never wrote songs to try to be on the radio or make,
But you just did. They hit that one.
Yeah, it was
song.
Totally just.
I heard you inside saying you still play like a nostalgia show. It's a big, huge.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of those, and
that's gotta be cool playing in front of that many people.
well, that's the. Yeah, you play big crowds, and they know that song, and
Well, it's
and they actually play 3 or 4 songs, and they don't even care about the other 3 because they don't even know, they don't even know.
Well, we saw the Lemonheads, and they didn't even play that Mrs. Robinson
they
song.
refused to
Like,
play it.
Yeah, because it's not his song.
But still, that's why everybody, like you said, that's what they know.
But that's not why he got into a band, was to be famous
I
for
know,
singing
but,
Simon
it
and
would've been nice to
Garfunkel.
hear it.
But when people came through the door and paid the money, they were expecting to hear that song. So
Especially if they got back together like 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
so there's that problem you have of, I want to play what I want to play, but then we also want to play what people came to hear.
I used
There's
to
that
be,
kind of-
that Jim Morrison kind of guy, who like, if I was drunk off my ass, that's what you were gonna get. You're gonna get drunk, John, and I was gonna just spit all over and
when
just
Eric's drunk,
stumble.
he can't play guitar. So he's not allowed to
Can't
drink.
play silver.
No.
I can't play silver, so it doesn't matter.
But I understand. But that's true though. So I used to be the artist, and now and over time I've come to really appreciate the idea that people paid to get in and that they do want to see you play your songs that they want to hear, and they want them to sound like they did on the record. I mean, and if that's the case, like I wasn't trying to bust anybody's chops when I said, okay, here's our hit song if that's all you want to hear. But sometimes there's some drunk girls there, and that's really all they do want to hear, and then they're going to start yelling it and getting silly.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
No, I'm happy.
That'd be awesome.
I'm blessed
Yelling something
in so many ways, It's
So
ridiculous.
what's Dramarama up to these days? What are you guys up to?
Well, we got back together because of the VH1 TV show, Bands Reunited, and we've been together now longer reunited than we were the first time. And the new guys in my band are the bass player and the drummer. They've both been in the band for 20 years, so or been playing with me because they started playing with me when the band.
So you guys
was
are originally
broke
from
up.
New Jersey?
But you're
Now
out
you're
here,
based
though,
out
right?
here.
I live in Whittier, California.
Yeah, I think your daughter.
You guys got a tour coming?
We're doing some shows. We're going all over the, anywhere they'll have us. We're doing some 80s shows, and we're doing some clubs, and we have new music. But we're gluttons for punishment. We keep making new music when people really just want to hear old music from the old band. Even the Stones put out a new album last year. And
So what do you think about Rodney retiring? What does that mean to you?
I don't know if he's going to retire, if he's just going to be on a different radio station. I think that he was not well served by the management of the station for the last few years. I think they put him on
3 o'clock in the morning.
at 3 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't cherish him and treasure him as the immortal genius that he is.
How do you think music is different now, like in the 80s when we kind of hanging out? Because basically, to promote a band back then, you just put up a flyer and talk to some friends and have them come and see you. Now it's like
everything was do it yourself, but everything was like you had like Xerox machines and scissors and ink and markers and stuff, and computers really wasn't a part of it. It was all
So what's it like now?
Well, music.
The whole thing.
Well, the other thing too is like in the 80s, about as far back as we went was like the 60s or 50s or something, and that was old music, Now in the teens, there's still. I turn on my radio, I hear more 70s music and 60s music and 50-year-old music all the time. They're celebrating it. We weren't listening to the music of the 20s back in the 70s.
Is it easier for a band now to promote themselves with all the social media, do you think it's easier for bands now, or is it harder?
I think it's instead of having 100 bands sell 1 million records a piece, I think you got 1 million bands selling 100 records a piece.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Which is cool, you know.
yeah.
I mean, and some will float to the top and do something cool, but you never really know, you know, what you're gonna get. I'm not looking at the camera on purpose because I don't look at the camera. But,
That's all right.